Hello everyone and welcome to our Ventura TV. I'm Sandra Sepak. Today our very special guest is Mr. Ron Greenwood. He is the chairman and co-founder of Gold Coast Veterans Foundation here in Ventura County. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today, Ron.
My pleasure.
Glad to have you. Your organization helps so many veterans here in Ventura County, and I would like you to tell us a little bit more about it and how it got started.
Well, it got started because I was learning about veterans benefits I was entitled to when I was over the age of 50.
Okay.
So when my wife and I had achieved some success in business, we decided to start the foundation, ran it out of our back office until we opened our Veterans Connection about 6 years ago.
Wonderful. That's
so it was
great.
to make sure that veterans could go to one place and get all the assistance and advice and learn about their benefits.
Very good. I do know that you are a veteran, and I would like to thank you for your military service. You are a Purple Heart veteran, and I think that that means a lot to so many. And I just want to thank you before I keep going on the interview. I just wanted to mention that very quickly. Many of our veterans today are in need of so many different services, so I know that your organization provides many of those services that are very, very important. One of them is housing, and homelessness with veterans is a continuing problem. Let's address that and talk a little bit about it.
Yes, our foundation got, I would say, very actively involved in veterans homelessness in the county about 3 years ago.
Okay.
We just had veterans coming through the door who needed help, so we kind of naturally evolved to that.
Mm-hmm.
We have assisted in the last three and a half years, 35 formerly homeless Ventura County veterans with housing.
Okay.
Which is a pretty big chunk. We started with about 116 homeless veterans according to the county count.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
That is.
And it's not getting any better. I mean, the homeless veteran count is just rising, and we need to do more about it.
Well, with the veterans we've housed in the last 3 years, it's actually gone down a little bit. We still have a lot of homeless veterans to assist, though, that still need help.
Let's talk about a VASH voucher and how that makes a difference for somebody who does not have a place to live, who is a veteran. How do you get one? Does it help? Does it matter?
We can assist every veteran who might need a VASH voucher. It comes from HUD, Housing and Urban Development, but it runs through the federal VA.
Okay.
And the VASH voucher is where the VA will pay directly to a landlord the rent on behalf of a formerly homeless veteran.
Okay.
The big limitation with the VASH voucher is you have to be homeless for 1 year before you qualify for the voucher.
That is not a good situation. You mean to tell me you have to live for a year being homeless before you can even get a voucher?
Correct.
That's horrible.
It seems much too long for me because once you've been homeless a year, you're moving into the category of a chronic homeless person.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we've had veterans who had a job, but they lost their job, which meant they lost their apartment. They ended up living in their car.
Right.
We find them at 3 and 4 months, and we're trying to find them housing, but without much income, and they don't qualify for the VASH. That's a big gap in housing services as well in the county.
Are there more housing developments being planned here in Ventura County for veterans or low-income veterans?
Yes, there are. Many mansions did some groundbreaking earlier this year down in Oxnard, providing housing both for low-income veterans and for homeless veterans. And then recently the City Council of Ventura selected the developer who's going to build out the remaining 10 acres of the veterans home over on the corner of Telephone Road and Wells. And that will also be for homeless veterans and primarily low-income veterans.
So that will help a great deal. That will make a big difference.
Yes, it will.
That helps a lot. Every veteran, both on track and off track, are being helped with your organization. I know that you also give out referrals and you help with some of the government agencies, services like legal and counseling and job placement. Those are all something that you take care of at Gold Coast Veterans. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, we want the veteran who comes to see us to let us assist them because if you imagine a veteran that you learned about VASH voucher and you got one, now you have to find a landlord who will take one.
Right.
Well, if they come to us, we can assist with that.
Okay.
But that's also allowed us to work with government agencies who are providing services, non-government agencies and other organizations. So it's much easier for us to assist that veteran than for the veteran to try and be out on their own, and particularly if you're talking about veterans who are in need of housing. Very difficult for them to work the ropes and find out everything they need to do, accomplish it on their own.
Right. I know that you also have something called Veterans Court and the Vet Connection that you handle through your organization, and I'd like you to talk about that a little bit.
Well, our organization started initially with the idea we had to help the most at-risk veterans. So my wife and I had done a lot of work on behalf of veterans, and we became friends with the Secretary of the California Department of Veterans Affairs at that time, General Roger Brodigan, and he called us and said, would you reach into the district attorney and the judges and get Ventura County to establish a Veterans Court? Because he said, I want those established in California in every county if possible. And his reasoning was, and he was a Vietnam veteran as I was, combat veteran, he said, we don't want to treat this generation of veterans the way we were treated. And so we were able to reach in to the district attorney and the judges, and with the help of Colleen Toy White and Judge O'Neill and Judge McGee and Greg Totten, and also retired district attorney Mike Bradbury, we got the 42nd Veterans Court opened in the country, which is a huge success, and there's over 300 of them now.
Good to hear. Vet Connection?
Vet Connection is our one-stop shop where we're currently located. Where if a veteran comes, we call it the Veterans Connection, because when you come in and we meet you, we are going to find out what assistance you need, what help you need, and whatever it is. If we can't provide it directly to that veteran, we will connect them with a government or non-government organization, someone out there who is providing that exact service. So and we will see them through it.
That will be a big help, because they don't have to run all over the place trying to get help here and there. You can handle it all in one stop.
Because we also can help the veterans with their federal benefits.
Good.
The Veteran Service Officer in Ventura County, Mike McManus, has Tammy Bender, one of his rock star people. She comes to our Veterans Connection every Wednesday.
Nice.
And she sees probably in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 veterans. And it's a first come, first serve. If you wanted to get an appointment with a VSO officer, it's a 6-week wait. So she's been terrific, and we've been helping a lot of veterans. In addition to helping the veterans, that work the veteran service officers do brings in tens of millions of dollars to the counties by making sure the veterans are getting all their federal and state benefits they're entitled to.
And also one good thing also that you do is you have provided assistance in household items, wheelchairs, canes, even clothing that veterans may need.
Yes.
And these are all free of charge.
Everything's free of charge. We are 100% privately funded, but to the veteran, everything is free of charge no matter what we do. We work with the Knights of Columbus. The Knights of Columbus went out and bought a cargo container of brand new wheelchairs, and they asked us to be their local distributor. So on behalf of the Knights of Columbus, we've given over 100 free wheelchairs recently.
Which means a great deal to somebody who cannot afford to buy one.
Absolutely.
Big plus for them.
That is.
I know you yourself, as I mentioned, are a Purple Heart recipient, veteran, being in the military service. Do you think we're doing enough for veterans today? I think we could do more.
I agree with you completely.
I mean, I know that you have been a part of the military for a long time, and you probably see a lot that comes through your doors these days. But I think there's got to be more done.
Well, from the Civil War until Vietnam when I served, there was a draft. So millions of families throughout the country were involved and paying the price. We don't have a draft anymore, so the current generation, which has been fighting our 2 longest wars, only 1% have served post 9/11. So when you think of we've been at war for over 17 years and 1% is serving, we've never had wars last 17 years. This burden on this current generation of military veterans is unprecedented.
Yes, that's true. And Veterans Day is coming up. 1918 it was started, and it's a feeling that we really need to appreciate these people a lot more. So I do hope many people will think about that and celebrate Veterans Day for the right reasons and treasure these people.
The country asks a lot of our private citizens who end up in the military, and then we send them into harm's way. and they endure some pretty horrific circumstances. We need to make sure we do everything we can to help them get their lives back as much as they can, because they will never be the same person when they return.
No, it takes a toll on a lot of people and families.
And the families, because we like to say when people have been deployed 4, 6, 8 times into whether it's Iraq, Afghanistan, or elsewhere around the world, the spouse, the children, they've been without that parent during all of those deployments.
It affects a lot of people.
We have children who've grown up locally, on our naval base, Ventura County, who've missed half of their years. Sad. We had one young woman, when the husband was being deployed again recently, ask her father, "Do you remember the last birthday you were home when I had a birthday?"
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
And he didn't know the answer, and she looked at him and said, "I was 8, and now you're missing my 18th. So he was missing 10 years in a row of birthdays with a daughter.
It's very difficult.
You could hear the trauma that it was causing the daughter.
Right. On that note, though, let's change it up a little bit and add a success story here. Let's hear about some of the success stories that you may have for us.
Well, we encountered a veteran who had received a VASH voucher. They only last 90 days, so the veteran has to find a landlord who will accept it in 90 days, which is difficult. This veteran had gone to Julia Brownlee's, Congresswoman Brownlee's office after his VASH voucher had expired, and he had a second one. He was saying, "This one's going to expire too if I don't get some help."
Right.
They sent him over to our connection, and the day he arrived, a landlord called who had seen one of the articles in the Star written by our executive director asking for landlords to contact us who would accept VASH vouchers, and we were able to connect him with housing. He now not only is housed, he's back getting his education, and he's a volunteer at the Gold Coast Veterans Foundation.
He's giving back.
He's giving back, absolutely.
That's nice to hear. And that is a success story. We wish we could hear more of those. That's what we want. We want to see that. That would be really important. I know your need for volunteers and donors is extremely, it's high. You need that. You need a lot of volunteers and donors for the organization to keep it smooth and running and continuing. Let's talk about that too.
Well, one of the things I'll tout is we are 100% privately funded. 84% of all the funds we receive go to programs.
Oh, good.
Our overhead is very limited.
Good.
And I like to tell people, if you count the money and donations made by the board of directors, we cover that additional 16%. So for outside donors, then 100% of what they give goes directly to our programs. So we're always looking for volunteers. We could use some volunteers now who have IT experience, HR experience, accounting experience, but we're not just limited to that. Anybody who has skills that they think they can help us with, please come visit our center. We'd love to have you join us.
Okay, terrific. I think that really is very important because you can learn a great deal from many of the veterans that are part of your organization.
Absolutely.
That's good to know. Let's give folks your website so they can look at that, and hopefully the phone number too.
Our website is www.gcvf.org.
Good.
The GCVF is Gold Coast Veterans Foundation.
Okay.
And you can reach us by phone at 805-482-6550.
So they can go to your website for more information, all the services that you offer, should they need any of those services, or if they have any questions, they can find some of the answers there or call you.
And we'd like to invite potential donors and volunteers to feel free to call us, come in and get a tour of our facility, learn all of the things we're doing, and become a part of it.
Absolutely, and you've been a big help to so many veterans here in Ventura County. Ron Greenwood, I thank you so much for your service, your military service, and your service to so many veterans here, making a difference and helping them put their lives back where they should be, and being success stories, as we talked about. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you very much.
We're going to have you come back and talk again, okay?
Appreciate it.
Take care. And thank all of you for joining us on Our Ventura TV. I'm Sandra Seapack. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everyone.